When rage turns into violence and violence turns into power, we get the rise of monsters like YUJIRO HANMA the Ogre, who became a world-renowned mercenary that has the world in his hands, and Guts from Berserk, who pushes beyond his limits for the purpose of revenge and saving those close to him. Today, a breakdown of how strong both fighters are and who would win in a what if battle will be explained. First up, an aspect some argue as one of the most important in a cross-verse battle is the speed of characters. For some comparisons, we've seen both easily outspeed regular or semi-trained individuals. Guts was also able to react to this crossbow in his younger years, while YUJIRO did this in a more set-up demonstration of his speed. But something very interesting about this matchup is both of their dodging of lightning speed feats. Some of the most debated and I guess reasonable height of both characters' speed scaling. For Guts, it was this panel of him dodging Ganesh's lightning attack, a scene some argue against when looking at the context of the fight itself, and even the same attack hitting him at later points in the fight, this being a main reason for some arguing it is inconsistent. However, we also have points making it consistent. For example, Serpico doing the same in this panel as Guts, and in other situations being shown capable of reacting and intercepting Ganesh's lightning, with Guts being relative in speed to Serpico and faster when going all out. Therefore, for today's video, I'll be accepting this level of speed for Guts, which according to various calculations I could find on sites like Verse Battle Wiki and other sources, they have it around high hypersonic plus, or Mach 98. If you want to check out these calculations and everything else I talk about in today's video, check out the description. Now the YUJIRO situation is a little different. The panel is this one. The context is the normal hyping up of YUJIRO from the author, talking about how he's always on guard, so much so that he could dodge a freak bolt of lightning, showing him do so in this panel here, but in reality this didn't technically happen in the story, making it a little harder to justify as an actual feat. Some aspects to note in the context is that it was base YUJIRO and around the middle of the series at this point, or before the Baki and YUJIRO fight, which was quite some time ago now considering we're on the 6th manga and that occurred at the end of the 3rd. YUJIRO's Demon Bat gives him a stat amp, and YUJIRO has shown to continue to grow in power throughout the series. For the calculations of this feat, these also go through a wide range of perspectives. On the high end, I found this guy who claims it's massively hypersonic, or Mach 349 for reference, which puts it quite a bit above the Guts level of speed I talked about. On the other hand, the Mad Lad Nick from the Discord has provided his calculations, which is only at supersonic. We do have other means to scale YUJIRO's speed, such as this panel of him facing Masashi, which once again has multiple perspectives and calculations, some higher and lower than the Guts one as well. So let's say due to the convoluted nature of this, for the video they're around the same speed, as there's arguments for and against both characters' speed scaling I went over, with both being capable of amplifying themselves with the Berserker armor full takeover and YUJIRO's Demon Back. Now something just as important, their strength, power, attack potency, etc. For Guts, the scaling most common for the higher end is multi-city block level. This is due to being relative to various apostles, with some calculations shown on screen now, and even the Sea God, which also puts him in this level of power. However, as you can clearly see, the results of these calculations have a very wide range of power, as even within the multi-city lock level there's a big gap, as it goes from 100 tons all the way to 1 kiloton according to Verse Battle Wiki, with some of these calculations putting him on the lower end or higher end of this range. YUJIRO on the other hand has showings with calculations that can be much higher in this regard. Of course, the iconic earthquake stopping punch, which has the following calculations, some being multi-city block like Guts, or even large town level, which for example is up to 482 kilotons, much higher than anything for Guts, with some even arguing it goes higher. In short, this reveals that the lower end of Yujiro scaling is pretty much the high end for Guts. Additionally, if you're one of the people who claim that this is an outlier feat, or take this supposed statement from the author to disprove it, I have a few things to break down quickly. First, the translation of this post. It was done by someone known throughout the community as pretty much a plague, notorious for making up translations for the sake of getting chapters out first, or just trolling the community entirely. Pretty much no one who's really into the community takes anything this guy says as trustworthy, so of course I won't be including that. And the earthquake stopping level of power is also very consistent in the series. By no means is it an outlier. For example, later in the story we have other earthquake related showings, namely Biscuit Oliver slamming Doyle so hard people thought an earthquake was occurring. Yujiro was shown after that overpowering Oliver with ease. The imagination version of Yujiro created by Baki hit his son so hard it caused an earthquake, with the real version of Yujiro surpassing Baki's imagination. And on top of that, the aura of Yujiro alone, yes his aura, was able to shake this entire skyscraper. Also, we need to consider when Yujiro actually performed the original feat, being a much weaker version of himself. As if you don't know, this was in Baki's flashback when he was 13, 5 years before the official start of the manga. Yujiro even back then in the flashback was confirmed to grow in power every day, alongside various fights showing this growth, and it was the base form of Yujiro when he did this, not with the demon back amps. Additionally, there is some argumentation for Yujiro scaling going even higher, with the various statements of him being above Nukes, and on top of that, scaling above Pickle, who may have survived the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. But I won't be considering those in today's video, as regardless, Yujiro is clearly superior in attacking power. This in most cases means Yujiro should have more durability due to the need of attack potency scaling to durability. However, Guts is a unique factor with some hacks and abilities that play a major role, so now let's go over those. Some argue that the Dragon Slayer is capable of cutting the soul, or Guts has gained this ability in some way, meaning it is possible that he can negate the durability differences in really any fight. However, we don't have absolute outright confirmation in the series of this, so it's a little hard to justify. Additionally, there is arguments for him having pretty insane regeneration, well, to a degree due to the Berserker armor, but for the confirmation of this, it pretty much just reinforces his body, allowing Guts to continue fighting even when taking major damage and for all we know being unconscious. These are some variations of arguments for his durability being higher than his attacking power and him being able to pretty much survive stronger opponents. Lastly, for Guts, I might as well mention that it's possible in the future of the Berserk story that he will continue to grow in power speed to an insane degree. This is mainly due to the possibility of him fighting Griffith or Femto in the future, which in this point in the story is far beyond Guts in every comparison, that being speed, power, and even hacks, as he literally has causality manipulation. But of course we cannot include these as he hasn't done it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. We'll have to wait and see. See you in like 10 years time. Now for Yujiro, he technically has durability negating attacks as well, with Bender known as the Whip Strike. However, that kinda needs to hit the skin, so I guess that can't work. He seems to have the innate ability to see weaknesses of anyone, which of course can be exploited when facing Guts. The copying of martial arts shouldn't really be a factor, as Guts is a wild beast wielding a sword. Additionally, he is capable of using Xiao Li, which technically works on swords, and due to the narrative this does put Yujiro superior at using every technique, meaning it's possible that he could control his body in a way that it wouldn't work, This of course if you don't include the soul attacking aspect of Guts' Dragon Slayer. Lastly, he's also low-key above time. Baki right now in the story is still under 20 years old, but we've seen Yujiro in various chapters meet every new US president in chapters. No characters are aging, but Yujiro is meeting them all. I hope you enjoyed that breakdown. If you want to suggest future verse battle videos, become a member, which includes various other benefits. Now, who do you think wins this what if battle? Let me know down below. Honestly speaking, there's arguments for both sides. Yujiro has an insane power advantage, which should give him winning more times than not. However, with some extra things granted to Guts, he could also have the win, namely having the ability to attack the soul and his regeneration. As for the video, I've agreed that their speeds are equal, meaning all it will take is Guts landing one attack to potentially end the fight, and how many attacks will it take Yujiro to put him down if he has regeneration. So a pretty interesting what if battle. I hope you enjoyed everything. Subscribe for more, and shout out to these mad lads.